Okay, so we're live now. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Afternoon Talk. My name is Tiara, and I will be your host for today. Anyway, how are you guys today? I hope you are all feeling excited and eager to learn more at this afternoon talk session. Anyway, thank you for joining us in our event. Because of your big enthusiasm, we have closed our registration sooner than we expected, which is less than 24 hours since we publicized our posters, because we have reached the maximum limit of participants. And also, this is a project by Parlemen Puan supported by AYO, which stands for ASEAN Youth Organization. We are a youth-led community that comprises more than 400,000 members and also hundreds of impact-driven projects all over Southeast Asia. You can stay tuned in our online platform for more update about us. So today's afternoon talk topic is women empowerment during pandemic. Why women empowerment? Because if we include women and girls at the heart of our response and recovery, then we will turn this current crisis into more opportunity to be more resilient ASEAN community that leaves no one behind. And we will talk the women empowerment session from the perspective of ASEAN youth leaders. They already take concrete steps in using gender analysis to better understand the pandemic and also the response, as well as analyzing gender and actively engaging women in their activities. So before we start, I will read the rules for you so we will be crystal clear about the terms, conditions, and so on. The first rule is when entering, all participants must turn off the audio. So you all should set your mute unless the moderator allows the designated participant to speak. Participants are suggested to turn on their camera since we will take group photo session at the end of the webinar and you won't miss that. The second rule is participants who want to ask or respond can write it down in the Zoom chat box or the YouTube live comments. Then later in Q&A session, we will read it out for you. Don't forget the format is name, then who the question is addressed to, whether it's Miss Abigail or Miss Lilitha, and then your question. If there is still sufficient time remaining, participants can directly ask their questions if approved by the moderator. Third, at the end of the activity, participants are expected to fill out a feedback form. The feedback form link will be shared after the webinar, so don't leave yet. You don't want to miss the link to get e-certificate. Fourth, after the activity ends, participants are suggested to share their impressions and lessons obtained from this talk, then share it in Instagram and take us on at AYO ASEAN. I repeat once again, at AYO ASEAN. Fifth, please take note that the e-certificate will only be sent to participants who join on Zoom or YouTube until the end of the webinar and filling out our feedback form. We will follow up in maximum 3 days after the event. Okay, so now we're entering our first session. But before we start, let me give a brief explanation about our first speaker, Ms. Abigail Mesa. She is a representative for the Civil Society of United Nations Youth Toolbox and a founder of Rescue Kabatan Philippines. She also won the Best Volunteer Story at the World Festival of Youth in Russia. So without further ado, I will give the floor to you, Miss Abigail. You can start delivering your presentation now.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy seeing a lot of young people, probably young people at heart, to be here. And don't hesitate to share your comments and even questions later on. So I'm gonna share now my screen. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes, Crystal.
Okay. Okay, so I'm Abigail. I'm from the Philippines. I'm founder of Rescue Kabataan Philippines. And later on, I will share to you my story of how someone like me was able to be redeemed and be one of the instruments to not only to empower young people or women, but also to share that your story is enough to encourage people as well. Okay, so let's proceed. So our topic, our sharing, oh, not topic. I wanted to make this light and full of stories. So our sharing for this afternoon is entitled BLM. Okay, don't get me wrong. Okay, I am not gonna talk about the controversy now in the United States, but there's another meaning with BLM, and that is beautiful, loved, motivated. Okay, so if you are with your with someone, you are seated with someone in your house, or you can see your parents, your sisters, why don't you tell them you're beautiful, you're loved, you're motivated, or just tell it to yourself. Okay, you're beautiful, we are loved, and we are motivated. So I will talk about it later on. So during this lockdown, I know most of us or a lot of us experienced lockdown. Here in the Philippines, we still have this. We are under still quarantine, okay, or general quarantine, community quarantine. But during lockdown, did you ever feel that you were locked? Okay, did you ever feel that you were locked and down at the same time? And you know what? Since we have this online platform with mental health issues that we do every day, and there's a once a week session online, we have seen we have seen a lot of changes in what I mean is rising. Okay, there's a rise of percentage of committing suicide and depressed young people. Here in the Philippines, the average age is from 17 to 24. Okay, so there's a rise of percentage. Okay, higher percentage compared before. So did you ever feel that you were locked and at the same time down during this lockdown? Okay, before I proceed to that picture, let me tell you this. I will use pronoun I, okay, because I want to come from the perspective that it is so personal, and at the same time I want to encourage all of you uh, to put yourself into this situation as well. Okay, so my question. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, if I don't feel beautiful, am I still empowered? Have you ever asked that question? If I feel that I am not loved, am I still empowered? When I don't feel motivated, am I still empowered? Okay, those are my questions when I was preparing for this material, for this sharing. Now, this is purely my heart this afternoon, that together as one, including myself, okay, we can really be empowered. So it's not all about you, it's not all about me. This is a collaborative effort, okay? So who among us are empowered every time we feel that we are beautiful? Honestly, I'm one of those people. There are days that, right, that you don't feel like you're beautiful, you don't feel that you have a good hair, good skin, and I'm one of those people. But but not 21 years ago. Okay, so I'm gonna share to you a story, and based from that story, I will share to you more on how we can empower each and every one of us. So 21 years ago. So before, I have never seen the real beauty in myself or even felt love. And of course, it is hard to say that I am motivated back then, resulting for me to see myself not empowered and has practically no purpose or worth in life. So let me share to you my story. So I'm a daughter of both missionary pastors. So my parents are both missionaries, and look at that picture, okay? And basically we grew up in a very challenging situation since my parents are missionaries, and we transfer from one place to another. Okay, I was not able to build good friends in a certain place because we transfer most of the time. I never knew Cinderella until first year college. I never knew that there is Barbie doll until second year college. And everything changed when my father died when I was 12. So he died inside a church gathering. So he preached, he prayed, he did not open his eyes anymore. The cause of his death was aneurysm, but the cause of his aneurysm was over fatigue. When I knew that the cause of my father's death was over fatigue, I started to have this rage towards people inside the church, towards my family, towards my relatives, to everyone. Okay. And because of that, at the age of 12, I started to involve myself in pornographic activities. Okay. Now, why am I sharing this to you? Because I want you to know that as your speaker this afternoon, I want to lay down everything that I can lay, and to share whatever story that I can share. And you pick those moments that you can probably apply to your life. So aside from that, at the age of 13, at the age of 13, I started to smoke and to drink. At the age of 16, I started to have relationships, okay, different relationships. So based on that story, eh, I thought that the beauty relies on how many relationships that you enter. Okay, I began competing even to the point that I do not know whom I am competing with, just to feel that sense of empowerment. Okay, so at the age of 16, also I became a mistress. At the age of 17, I started to take illegal substances. I started with a cheap form of drugs up to let's call one of the most expensive kind of drugs. Then I thought I would change and go back to the reality and go back to God when I became a victim of gang rape when I was 19. So during this time, when I became a victim of gang rape, how can someone like me feel the love? Of course, I would never feel that I am loved. So first, I never felt that I am beautiful. I have wrong conception of beauty. Next, because I was gang raped, so I never felt that loved. So I started to run from all the consequences that I'm bearing. I started to run from that story. And at the age of 19, believe it or not, I started to live on the streets. I start to the point that I get food from the garbage bin from different fast food chains here in the Philippines. That's why every time I share this story to the young people, I would always challenge them that, you see, who would have thought that that person can now share that story to all of you. But then I was so full of pride. I was so arrogant. And I don't want to listen because I had this different perception of being empowered. Being empowered for me is being independent, at the same time have no reason to listen to others' voice as well. So I continued with my old life, and then at the age of 21, I started to work. I graduated from a university, Bachelor of Secondary Education, then I started to work. But then at the age of 21, I had 7 criminal cases. That resulted me to commit suicide for 3 times at the age of 21. So I had never felt that beauty. I have never seen that beauty. I have never felt that love. And I was never motivated in my life, especially during that time when I committed suicide for 3 times. Now, I had this false hope, a false sense of empowerment that if I have money, if I have lovers, if I have a career, if I have an image to portray, then I am empowered. But how come I am not even secure of what lies ahead, to the point that because I do not see any security and assurance that I still have hope in life, I decided to commit suicide. But then what happened to you, Abigail? Okay. What happened? How come I was able to pick up myself and started to have this real empowerment? The turning point happened when I was 23. During this time, my mom was in Thailand for a mission. And you know what, friends? I hope I hope you understand this story. But during that time, my mom prayed, and her prayer was, Lord, if you will not use Abigail for the nation, for the Philippines, and for the youth, then take her life already. That was exactly her prayer. And you know what? Exactly that night, I was found inside my apartment in Manila. I was overdosed. And that moment turned my life. And that moment changed my life until now. When I was given a chance to live again, during my deathbed, I was given a chance to start over again. And because of that turning point when I was 23, I decided to find the root cause. The root cause. And I finally found why I did all of those things. Okay? And that is my character. Yes, friends, it's hard to admit, okay? It's hard to admit. It's hard to lower down my pride, and it's hard to humble down. But you know what? I can clearly say that it is my character. It is heartbreaking to accept, as I've said, but I underwent a character rehabilitation for 2 years. And most of the times, I had this thinking that I want to empower others. But every time I have that kind of thought that I want to empower others, I myself is not willing to mold my character. Then how can I empower myself and others if I am not willing to be molded? I always tell in Rescue Kabataan, the organization that I founded, that it is hard to rescue others if you yourself needs to be rescued. And I am one of those. Okay. So I ask myself, will I just live on this earth without a purpose? Yes, I messed up big time, okay? But is that the end? Will I not continue in my life or choose to conquer my battles and let not my pasts define or snatch my future? Then I had my realization. Okay, I forgot to show. This was my picture during my um, when I started to when after being raped. Okay, I I entered escort service, or what we call here prostitution, and that was my picture. And because of that moment, it's hard for me to pick up myself. But going back to what I'm saying a while ago, I found the root cause of all of this, and that is my character. And then I had this realization that since I do not know my value, my worth, that's why I wasn't able to empower my personal choices in life. That's why I was able to make those choices, okay, intentionally, because I was not able to empower even myself. Now, after that turning point, and after I was able to pick up my mat and myself and started the process, okay, I started to share my redemption story. Here in the Philippines, I started to share my different media platforms. got the story and then show it during Lenten season, and also different channels and another story. So that's my story. And then they kept on showing it in different media platforms. But as I've said, the process was not easy. So Abigail, if the process was not easy, but you were able to pick up yourself, okay? But let me tell you, friends, okay, I'm still on the process. Okay, that's why I want us to be one in this process. So what is the answer? What are the practical ways that we can do on how, okay, how, Abigail, how can we empower ourselves or to be empowered to empower others as well? I hope you guys um, registered here or attended this afternoon, because our main goal is not just to listen or just to have e-certificates or just to um, join, but also to be empowered, and later on we can empower others as well. Okay, so I have 3 points only on how can we be empowered to empower others. Okay, number one woman rule. What do I mean by this? One woman rule. As a woman, I, I need to know my values in life so that I can see my value or worth in life. Now, what do I mean by this? I need to ask myself, who am I as an individual? Okay, who am I as an individual inside my home, inside the office, inside your school if you're studying, okay, in your community, in your workplace? Who are you as an individual should define you as a daughter, as a woman, as a leader, as a student, as a professional. In my case, I have a husband already. I'm married, as a wife, and as a citizen of our nation. What do I mean? Based on the story that I've told you, in my case, I have said it obviously a while ago that I do not know my values in life. That is why I lived a double life. Imagine, I'm a daughter of missionary pastors, but I wasn't able to live the life that that is best for me. I chose a different path and lived a double life. Now, um, I was good to some people, but a disaster to many. I always say that. Okay. And with that, it's hard for me to know my value, my worth. If I do not even know my values or my characters that I'm standing on in life, my standards in life. That is why, in my case, again, I've entered those decisions. Now, listen, friends, true empowerment is building yourself up. True empowerment is building yourself up. You are you are that same empowered woman in your home. You are that same empowered woman in your school. You are that same empowered woman in your workplace, with your friends, in your marriage, if you're married, and you will be that same empowered woman wherever you go. No pretensions needed, just like what I did before. You don't need to pretend just to compete or pretend to be so tough while in fact you are so loving. Okay? Now, it is really true that charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman with a noble character is to be pursued. I myself, I was not able to fulfill this, okay, for how many years. But I'm still grateful that now I can start over again and mold my character and slowly to be that woman, the best woman that I can be. Now, if we know our values in life, we hold on to those values and will lead us to know our strengths, work on our weaknesses, because a woman, us, with a great values and knows our worth, we desire to empower even our personal choices, and that leads us to the next step, and that is role. What do you mean by that? Since we look back, since we can look back to our values and in life and know our worth and know our value as a woman, then we can assess and we should know our role. Okay, let's think about this. Okay, I know my value now. I know my worth now, Abigail. Let's maximize my strengths and let's work on my weaknesses. This includes pruning, molding, to bring out the best in our lives. Why? Because during that time, I was thinking about this. Why do I want pruning and molding in my life? Because I want to be excellent in my role. In all stages in life, we have a role to maximize. We have a role to play. Okay. When I was still studying, my role is to study well, okay, and to finish my school. When I started working, of course, I have a different role now to play, and that is to have to work excellently and to submit to the authority inside the office or to the school. And then when when I was still single, of course, I still have role with my parents, with my relatives, and with our own family. Then when I got married, I have another role to play again. Now, if I knew, okay, this back then, okay, then I could have excelled specifically in my work, okay, no matter what. I then realized that if I knew all those things before, then I will just work. I will not compete just to prove my role, just to prove that I am above, just to prove that I am empowered. I will just work hard and faithful to be promoted. That's what I have learned while I'm doing this material. Now, as I've said, now that I'm married, of course, we have individuality. You guys, my friends, we have different circumstances. But one thing I've proven that it is so reassuring that we know our rules. It is so reassuring that we know our roles. That's why, in my case, as a married woman, I do not need to compete with my husband because we know our roles. Instead, friends, why not collaborate? Okay? Why? Because collaborative effort can result with a collaborative result. Collaborative effort for a collaborative result. Imagine knowing our roles empowers us and can even lead the people around us to what is right. Now, friends, if we are in doubts of accepting this kind of roles, remember, as a woman, we are clothed with strength and dignity. So we open our arms to the poor and extend our hands to the needy because we are empowered, knowing our role. Now, if we already know our role, and just like what we said with number one, we already know we can look back with our values in life, our standards in life, and then mold our value and our worth up. Okay. And yes, as I've said, we can be empowered knowing our role despite our individuality and different circumstances. But there's a reality, my friends. There are times, and many times, okay, that while fulfilling those roles, we stumble, we fail, okay, or we fall. We had disappointments, frustrations, even to the point of letting our pasts come into our way again. Especially, I remember in my case, many times I wanted to move forward, but my past would try to hunt me many years. But you know what? Even though we know our worth, there are times that we felt that we are losing the battle in life. And in times like this, one word pushes us to be empowered. And this is my last point for us this afternoon. The word purpose. Okay? Empowered by a purpose. We are empowered by a purpose. A quick and short story. When I started Rescue Kabataan, nobody wants to believe because people are telling she's a former prostitute, she was a victim of gang rape, she was a former drug addict. And how can someone like her start a movement to rescue the youth from drugs, vices, sexual abuse as well, and suicide? So nobody wants to believe on this. But you know what, guys? Because I was empowered by that purpose. We can be empowered by that, by our purpose. Then you know what? I was able to start the movement called Rescue Kabataan here in the Philippines. So Rescue Kabataan has a memorandum of agreement with the Office of the President and the Department of Education here in the Philippines to saturate all the campuses all over the Philippines and have a monthly program for the whole school year. Why do I need to show this? Why? Because we are empowered. We are empowered, especially women. We are empowered because we have known, we have proven, we have seen that we have a purpose in our life. No matter how dark your pasts are, no matter how what situations you are in right now, no matter how uncertain we are today, uncertain of the future, uncertain of what whether we can still achieve our goals, our dreams, etc. No matter how painful our stumbling moments, falling moments are, no matter how many times we have done something and people do not see or appreciate those things or even believe your passion or our passion, we still have a purpose. We have a purpose in life. And because in my case, I continued empowering myself. I continued to be empowered by a purpose, and Rescue Kabataan became big and has been one of the programs for the United Nations Toolbox, where we present the program and was able to achieve a partnership with them until it was given an award in Russia for the best volunteer story. And because I was empowered, we were empowered by a purpose. The last purpose probably that I can share as of this moment was I was still given a chance to get married. Even with that kind of past, even with that kind of um, dark pasts. Now, why am I showing all of this to you as I end, my friends? If we are empowered by our purpose, our family, our society, if you're married, your husband or your wife has full confidence in us because they know that as an empowered woman, our purpose is to bring good, not harm, in season or out of season. Our purpose sheds some light even in the darkest night. Our purpose brings back the flavor of life. Our purpose gives us the reason to continue in times of giving up. Our purpose lifts up a dying heart and spirit. And, and empowered by a purpose leads us to that BLM, to a beautiful, loved, motivated you and me. A woman, I always want to share this, a woman of noble character, just like you and me, and empowered by a purpose, just like you and me, is hard to find. And it's worth far more than, rubies. And I am so privileged this afternoon that I am in front of women worth far more than any precious stones. I hope you guys, my friends, were able to get the points and blessed with the story that I've shared. Thank you so much.
Okay, that was a really touching and inspiring story from Miss Abigail. She went from the lowest point of her life, then bounced back into who she is today, empowering us. That is so inspiring. Once again, I would like to remind you guys once again, if you have any question, please write it down in the Zoom chat box or the YouTube live chat. Then we will read it later in the Q&A session after our second speaker has finished her presentation. So now we're moving to the second session, with Miss Lilita Govindasamy from Malaysia. She is a youth and women advocate, founder of Youth Wave Malaysia, and she also has listed in Britishpedia 3rd edition of Successful People in Malaysia. Miss Lilita, I'm just going to give the floor to you. You may deliver your presentation now.
Hi, everyone. Tiara, just checking. Can you hear me?
Yes, crystal clear.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for your precious afternoon to join us here today. Thank you for Asian Youth Organization for having me. And thank you, Tiara, and all of you who actually have me, looking forward to listen, to share, educate, unlearn many things from us. And earlier when I was listening to Abigail's, her experiences and all, it was so touching, Abigail, and I'm really inspired by what I mean in the whole entire journey. I have a similar story to actually share, but I wouldn't say I did not went through that difficult moment compared to you, Abigail. But seriously, that was an eye opener. How actually you can, come out of this whole entire thing, still smiling widely in front of us and sharing. This is like the most important thing that even I have actually learned from you today, Abigail. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna continue with mine now. So just hang in there, just one sec. Okay, can you guys see this? Empowering women during pandemic.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, thank you. So this is like the simplest slide I can ever do because I'm really tied up currently. There's so many things that I'm doing currently, but thank you so much. But nevertheless, I just wanted to speak. I prefer to tell stories and to speak more than visualizing things. So I think this could be okay. So empowering women during pandemic by myself, Lilita Govindasamy. I'm 30 years old and I'm a Malaysian. I'm from Malaysia. Okay. Okay, so this is me, Lilita Govindasamy, the girl next door. Why did I say the girl next door? Because usually people tend to capture, to get highlights about politicians, public figures, and then we have celebrities, and now what's in trend is social media influencers. So it's always about highlighting them, creating a platform and speaking to them, getting to know them more and more. And these people eventually tend to make money. And this is what's been happening all around the globe. It's not only in my country, it happened everywhere. So for me, why I would, because this is the tag that I used even during my interview, and how actually they got the publicity during just right after the interview when they did the write-up about me. So this is what was said, because I'm just from a small city, from Ipoh, Perak. It is a very small city, and I came, from this small city to Kuala Lumpur. Not sure how many of y'all knew about Kuala Lumpur. So I came all the way from Kuala Lumpur to continue my studies. So what I did was I started off with communication, foundation in communication. So what happened later, I did not complete my degree. My degree was supposed to be communication in, Bachelor's of Arts in Communication and Media Management, due to a wrong, abusive relationship. So at the very young age, at the age of 19, I got into an abusive relationship, and I couldn't come out from that particular relationship. mainly because I thought that was first loved and, you know, those kind of thing. So, and it's quite typical because all the, like Indian community, it will be more like, okay, your auntie already know about your, you know, your auntie know about your boyfriend, your neighbor already know about your boyfriend, everybody know about your boyfriend. So you have to stick and die with him like forever. So this is the, you know, the social thing which was planted in most of the Indian community, you know, not only in Malaysia, all around the globe, and that's Indian, this is what they do. So because of that, I had to put up, and I had bruises all over my body. I couldn't actually, you know, concentrate in class. I was very bright until, you know, this relationship came in. I can't share it with my parents or my siblings because I scared that I will hurt them more because I was studying in the most expensive university back then. For a person like me with middle class background, my father was a grass cutter and my mom is a housewife. So pretty much we had a funder, the Goff family is a Chinese family who funded my studies actually. So I've already embarrassed them by not continuing my studies due to this, but I cannot bring to front what actually happened to me. You know, this fire extinguisher, I was whacked using this fire extinguisher. I was cut into bruises using dagger, and then there's some kind of hard metal. Literally my abusive ex-boyfriend used to hit me badly on my head. I don't know how many parts of my head actually there's blood clot and all. I don't know. I'm till today I don't do any medical checkup because I'm in fear if I find out anything and then I'm gonna lose my confidence. So I don't do all this. But yeah, that's what's been how they involved, and this is what happened. You know, the entire journey, college and studies and all those things, I struggled. And I thought I came out and I started working in corporate companies, in the bank, a lot of places because I am a good communicator. I can speak well. I'm a good networker as well. All this attitude and everything was instilled to me during my younger days back in school. So I use them, implement them in my working life, you know, during my working journey. And at the end, I tell myself, enough of what you've been through and whatever that happening. I got into many relationships. Everything was a failure. I was body shamed because I'm in the dark skin tone, brown skin tone, and I was fat. So now we are literally changing the term to plus size. But earlier it was fat, fatty bom bom, all this kind of you know, body shaming. Everything was there. So people tend not to look at your inner beauties, your brains and things like that. They really body shame you. And this, I decided to put a full stop at the age of 27, which I thought I am putting a full stop, but I always had this insecurity in me. I used to try all sort of pills, all sort of tell me everything. I tried everything just to, you know, just to actually entertain those who are actually speaking about me or body shaming me. Body shaming was really a difficult thing to do. To go through. So, and then I was thinking, hell, I'm not gonna, you know, give a damn about these people. I just need to continue because I have a good future ahead. I was thinking about that, literally motivating myself. And that's where I started that's where I started on the LG Marketing and Consultancy Services. It's my first business. And I started off in the page. I started a page on LG Designs. It's online boutique, Indian apparel, actually, all these Indian clothings, whereby I took 5 days of my life, entire life, only this part, where I was really committed. Jack Ma helped me. How? Alibaba.com really helped me, where I went there, compared prices and everything. I've never been to India, but I trusted wholly on, solely on the China market, the website, which is Alibaba.com. And then I find out few vendors. I started doing import-export businesses. So that was LG Design as a whole. Yeah. So LG Design, what's LG Designs made to me? What actually happened was, okay, this is it. Okay, this is back in 2014, where I was featured in one of the newspaper in Malaysia, which is Malay Mail. And if you can see, it's dated. I do design, I customize, and I do import export. So on a very fast mode, I was actually captured in social media. And this lady by the name of Rebecca Saw, she interviewed me and she featured me in this Malay Mail. And I was 24 years old at that point of time. So I was juggling between my corporate banking life, abusive boyfriend, and then I even had my own, I would say I had a lot of financial difficulties before, and still, it's a hiccup, but we are trying to overcome. So this is my first feature, which gave me a little confidence to move further on what I'm doing. So that is about LG designs. And then LG marketing and consultancy services. Along the way, I was working with few universities, which made me to feel that I can counsel people, I can counsel students, because I was counseling students all this while and their parents, changing their mentality, and a lot of things I was doing. So I was thinking that why not I also venture into marketing, because I have been doing marketing for some time. So I was thinking, why not this consultancy services? So I started, and since 2016 till date, I've even paid the registration fee, whereby not paid as in like I fork out my own pocket money. What I do is that we have commission upon recruiting for these students. So usually on my commission, certain percentage, I park it back to the students' welfare. So I think around 20 to 30 students, not on a big scale, but for a person like me who has been going through all these financial difficulties all this time, I think what I did was okay. It was considered okay, not a big sum or big achievement, but it was still okay for me to go through that, to be contributing at least 500 ringgit. We call it ringgit here in Malaysia. At least 500 ringgit Malaysia. I was contributing to one student per student, right? So that was happening there. And then as time goes by, the businesses was on one point of time. And then this is my first involvement in politics. So I was invited to join politics back in 2018, when we had, after 60 years, we had the first change in government, which we call Pakatan Harapan. So I wasn't up to so forth. I'm more into changing people's life. That is where I started, counseling and things like that. But when I was invited to join politics, I never think twice, because I thought that would be a greater platform for me to get connection, to be connected, to do even better. Being one person here doing one thing. So I was thinking that with the political party, I'm gonna expand, expand my wings and do more. So this picture is during I was one of the candidate in my parliament. I would say my parliament, not as a parliamentarian, but I was a candidate as in like for the youth wing. We had all these parliaments, we have groups, and also I was one of the youth with hundreds of them as well. So after winning this, a fresher like me, after winning this, it gives me more confidence that, there are ground support for me together with the team support, that I need to do more. And I thought as the journey continues, what happened was, I was sexually abused in my own party as well. So what happened is that, just to share with all you guys, I was the only Indian women leader in the youth wing of the entire Malaysia. Okay, so they were starting to release, they couldn't actually take the heat that there is such individual who's actually coming up fast in the politics. And what happened was they tried many ways to demotivate me, to bring me down, to kick me out from this particular political arena. And I was thinking it's just normal and all. Suddenly, one fine day, I saw a few WhatsApp screenshots, messages been viral, and what it was actually a nude picture of a man's private nude picture, and a naked lady on I would say on a plus size. It's humongous actually. Even her thighs were so huge that it's not my size. I'm like a invertical pyramid. That is how my body structure is, because I have really chicken legs, I would say. I have really small legs. But in that picture, the thighs were so huge, and these guys choose to circulate this picture. They were viraling this picture all around, claiming that that is Lilita. And they even it was a sex conversation with another guy. God knows who is that guy. They might be taking that picture from Google or whatsoever. And then what happened was, other peer politicians. Yeah, so what I thought it was normal, because maybe all the other politician, women leaders, they might go through. It happens everywhere. But things get worse after a friend of mine who brought me to politics, thinking that I'm about to shine. But he is the one who, he also contributed to these viral messages, and then he put blame on my personal character, which is which is outspoken, and maybe I'm not a very secretive person. So they started hitting on my personal character, but they were viraling this picture as though it's me, but it's not me. And for a start, I did not make any police report until things get worse and my family members got to know. That's where I made a police report. I made 2 reports, and they did not stop. Nothing stopped. They did not stop. And they were all around viraling this picture, but it did not go out anywhere except for the political arena. All these people who are within the community, within the political community, because they want to actually tarnish my name. They want me to step down. As this was ongoing, I've already started my NGO, because I knew that as a woman, as an Indian woman in my country, or maybe perhaps in any other countries or things like that, individually, I feel they are killing my political career, because I am a threat for them. Knowing that, and knowing that if I'm going to step down now, they might think that, I'm scared of them, I gave up, okay, I lose at the end of the day. But I did not give a damn, because for me, at the end of the day, my family's peace, their mental health is really important, as well as I need my goals to continue. So I stepped out and I started Youth Wave. Okay, Youth Wave is in English, and it's a wave for all the youths. And in Malay, it's called Pertubuhan Gelombang Muda Malaysia. Okay. Why I started Youth Wave? Because I got to know there's so many youngsters out there, just like me, who are struggling to speak out, to have a voice, just to speak out, to share their ideas. There's so many hiccups that we're going through. And also, there's so many youngsters out there who really aim to join politics without knowing what they are actually about to face. So I took the lead. I felt that I'm responsible to enlighten them. Get ready, prepare yourself mentally, physically, and also financially before you join to the political arena, especially to women's out there. There's so many beautiful, women's beautiful, meaning to say they have a lot of good ideas to develop the country, to bring the country to a different level. And this is what's happening. And this is not only happening here, because I had an international summit, which I will share shortly. I was one of the speakers as well. And we also shared the same experience. We have also few of them youngsters who are, at a very young age, women who joined political party, and they were actually cut off just like that. And many of them, the men, because of their egoism, they were cutting them off. So I thought, it's okay. You just don't want me to be there. It's okay. But my journey continues. And that's where Youth Wave came in. So for a start, Youth Wave is really fresh. I started on April 2020, 11th of April 2020. And if you ask me what we have actually done in Youth Wave, nothing much, except for helping families during COVID. So we've helped around 132 families who are in need all over Malaysia. And we were funded by one corporate company from the Singapore. They gave me around 3,000 ringgit. They actually pass it to me, which I actually pass it back to my NGO, because I feel rather than branding myself as an individual, I feel like the branding is supposed to go to my team. They deserve that. So I feel like it also gives a credit for the team as well, because we are growing and branding is very, very important. Ladies, I'm just trying to tell you guys, branding is really important to all of us. So I started brand my NGO as such way through, and COVID was the best time for me to brand myself and the NGO, and that's where so forth. So these are some of the pictures. And the women empowerment journey continues after I met this beautiful lady. So guys, this is Andrea, okay? So Andrea actually approached us, few of us. We were all the speakers, Vatsala, Shavati, Nora, Paloma, Rosaline, and all of us were connected through this women empowerment panel discussion. This was only a one-day panel discussion connected by Andrea, okay? We had a lot of sharing, and we are all from different different sectors. And I was the youngest, of course, and I was like the I was learning with them, actually. I was learning through their experiences and all. All of them have different background. And this is where, from youth empowerment, I started women empowerment. So this is the point where through Andrea, I got to know this lady, and I realized more about empowering women, not only in politics, but nationwide, and also, you know, everywhere, that I need to actually get women out of their comfort zone and start to be a warrior. They need to start fighting. They need to be someone. A woman need to have a brand. She need to be whoever she wants to be. She need to, if she don't have a goal, she need to set a goal. If she don't have, if she just choose herself to be a victim, it's a big no-no. I mean, we are not in the 1920s anymore. We are in 2020. 2020 could be a disastrous years for many of them. But for me, it's all good. I've achieved hell a lot of things in this pandemic, which I'm also sharing here. So started from this panel discussion on 15th May, which was virtual. And then we expanded to the International Global Online Women Empowerment Summit, where I was one of the motivational speaker there. So yeah, so this particular women empowerment global online women empowerment summit just finished, actually. It just ended 1st to 4th October. Andrea, this great woman, she actually gathered 108 speakers around the globe, all the famous TED Talk speakers, all the famous storytellers, brand strategists, I would say not social media influencers, but real life influencers, and you know, successful people all around the globe. 108 of them. She connected all of us under one roof, and she ran this 4 days summit, which is like, hats off to Andrea. I'm not sure if she's watching this. I did put a word, but yeah, seriously, I would say that women empowerment went to another level, not only for me, Lilita, as in a person who's a woman in Malaysia who's striving as well, but globally, we shared, we network, we learn, we unlearned, we educate, we empower, and we know what exactly we're advocating for. So this is the empowerment summit about. And LinkedIn, another thing that I would like to share with all you people here is the power of LinkedIn. Some might find that you are too young to get into LinkedIn. Some do have, some youngsters might think LinkedIn is just another social networking platform, just like Facebook and Instagram, Twitter. No, LinkedIn is really professional, and LinkedIn is really a place whereby you get connected with all the professionals around the globe, whoever you want, name it. I've spoken to, I'm sure all of y'all know Osama bin Laden, if all of y'all remember Osama. So I've spoken to, in the Middle Eastern, family-owned businesses. They are very famous in running family-owned businesses, FOB. So if you see the board of directors in the Middle East, they are all, their brothers, sisters, uncle, aunties, cousins, nephew, nieces. They are built of all this family. Their board of directors is them. So I was working in one of these training and consultancy agency, Marcus Evans. It's also world famous. So through Marcus Evans, I learned the technique of passing through the secretary of all these high-end people. And also I learned a lot. And that's how I got connected to Bin Laden Group's CEO, which happened to be, this is like 6 years back, which happened to be Osama bin Laden's brother. So I think it was really a goosebumps experience, because at a very young age, for, it's like knowing about someone, a terrorist or whoever he can be, but someone who's so famous, and you're actually getting connected, and you want to invite one of them from that board, some famous figure, public figure, you want to invite them for to attend a forum that you are conducting through your company. So not only Bin Laden Group, also many huge from Middle East, from Sri Lanka, we have Hydra Money Group, all these huge groups, groups of businesses, I've got connected with them. So that's how I actually learned, and I love networking internationally, just like how I'm meeting all of y'all here today. So I believe in we born in one place, but we are responsible for lives in other places. So this is really important for all of us. And LinkedIn, coming back to LinkedIn, LinkedIn had also bring a change in my life, whereby I learned how to brand myself in LinkedIn. I learned how to network in LinkedIn. And then through many interviews that all these LinkedIn coaches had. So this is one of it. I am the youth advocate, and I was actually speaking about personal branding, how to actually brand yourself, how important is it to brand yourself, and how branding can actually assist you to achieve your goal. So this is really important. So through LinkedIn as well, I was actually this. Okay, so I was listed in this Britishpedia 3rd edition. Again, this was never a dream. This is never a dream since young, or even since I had my 30s now. It was never a dream. Something just happened right on time. Something just, I wouldn't say it's a miracle, but I would say something sent by God to tell me I'm still watching you. Because at that point, I still remember last month, I was really juggling in between so many things, mentally exhausted. I even attempted suicide many times actually, but of course not by drinking poison or things like that. I was just thinking that it's time for me to end. I just don't want to wake up the next morning, and when I'm sleeping, I just tell myself I don't want to wake up the next morning. And after I woke up the next morning, I'll be thinking, why am I even awake? But for me, it's just that I'm no one to take my own life, and I am a very bright person that I feel that people need to know what happened to me, and they need to know, after so many things that happen for a young person like me, and there's so many of you out there who has been struggling a lot as well. There's always a way, and you should know that this too shall pass, because everything which happens in our life is all a testing period. So being listed in Britishpedia, the 3rd edition, and this particular encyclopedia, this Britishpedia, it will be actually placed in the National Library. And for a grass cutter's daughter, someone who earns like a daily wage, 70 to 90 ringgit a day, and and my father actually passed away in 2016. He did not actually wait till to witness all my happy moments here, but I'm happy that my mom, my siblings, and people who've been there with me through thick and thin, they are here witnessing what I'm doing, what I've achieved, and I'm still achieving. Of course, as a typical family, there's do's and don'ts, but I'm here to break stereotypes. How long are we going to be like this, right? So being listed in successful people in Malaysia, among all the public figures, I'm also one of the current public figure, which another thing which I'm like, until today, my friends will be like making a joke, pulling a joke out of it. They'll be like, how come you're a public figure? And I'll be like, achieve what I've achieved. But that is not on an arrogant mode, but that is to tell all of you, you can be there as well, because all of you all are gifted with so many things. But it's just that how you're putting it together and trying to make your goals, to make it into reality, that what matters. So this particular book, it will be released next year, I think somewhere around January or February. So I will definitely share with you guys what's written there. The same thing, pretty much the same thing what I've been sharing, but more in depth maybe. That is just an accreditation out of Blue Moon actually. So coming back from there, moving here, my goals could be yours too. Okay, I'm sure it could be yours too. So my goal, talking about my goal, basically my goal is something which I think all of us want to do. All of us wants to initiate something, but it's just that we have fear in us and we don't know how to do lazy. We are all millennials. I assume that all of us are watching here are millennials or Gen Z. And I feel that the important thing that we need to educate ourselves is to stop judging. Why I say stop judging? Because during the pandemic, what happened during the pandemic, domestic violence, the increase in domestic violence, especially in Malaysia, because I only can speak about what I've experienced, and also from what I've hear stories from other countries as well during my summit. The increase in domestic violence is not in a small scale. It's really huge. So why are these people getting themselves involved in domestic violence? Simply because they don't know the way out. Okay, you need to fight through many hurdles. You might have egoistic partners with you. You might be someone who's not educated. You might not have any skills in hand to actually earn extra from home to support your husband, to support your family. So everywhere you are being judged. So it's not only happening during the pandemic. It doesn't happen only during the pandemic. It happened way before that. So when we become judgmental, we actually demoralize ourselves. So I really feel that the pandemic also allowed us to be more judgmental on whatever we see over the net. We tend to judge because we are too free. This is what we have been doing. So we are too free, and we spend time in, being the reason for other person's suicide attempt. We've been the reason for other person's, relationship breakups. We have been the reason for I would say, the family breakup, going through mental tortures, stress, mental disorders for many of them, not only for the women, but also for their kids, the children. So this happened. Also, it happens to the other gender as well, which is the male, but majority it happened to women. So I think importantly, we need to stop judging. And on top of that, we have to break stereotypes whereby women's only do soft skill jobs. Women's only deserve to, sweep the floor, and maybe baking, cooking, or you do online businesses, or you sell clothes in the textile industry, and all these stereotypes around the world. The moment you feed the men with these stereotypes, you are what you actually show yourself as, how you represent yourself. You are what you represent yourself. So I really think that you also really need to know how to break stereotypes. Once you know how to break stereotypes for yourself, okay, so just like how you learn, if you need to learn how to break stereotypes for yourself, then you will know how to break stereotypes for others. Example for me, body shaming. During the pandemic, it really, got me worried, got me down, pulled me down, demotivated. There's so many things happened during the pandemic where I feel that, I need to go all the way out to break stereotypes on body shaming and about women, meaning to say, if a woman is loud, she is defined as she is being very arrogant and she is bossy. This is how women are always being stereotyped. So during the pandemic, it got worse because we are working from home. I don't know how many of y'all work from home, but for me, work from home every day, literally every day, I get into arguments with my boss. But before that, I did not have all this problem. I mean, I did have, but not as frequent as during the pandemic. So I think breaking stereotypes is also important for us to break stereotype among ourselves, within ourselves, and also the community. The third one, I would say, go digital. Studies shows that 90% of males are dominating the world startup. Okay, anything to do with tech startups, everything is about the male. So where are the women? Where are the women leaders? So during the pandemic, you get a chance to go digital. So not only using Zoom, I was using Zoom for the past 3 to 4 years. I learned Zoom. But during the pandemic in Malaysia, that is where Zoom meetings became very famous. And then we had StreamYard, and then we had, other online virtual meetings which came along. So for me, I feel that a woman actually is for everybody, especially youngsters, but also stressing on women. You need to know the technology. You need to be on par with Industry 4.0. You need to be on par with the digital world. So which are the industries which wasn't affected during the pandemic? It was any businesses through digital platform. Am I right? E-commerce businesses, all these things, unless you are doing shipping, as example, like import export businesses. Yes, it was a hit there. There was a hit down there. But whatever other businesses that you were doing, like Grab was still functioning. We had Food Panda, and then other e-commerce businesses, like so many of them became overnight social media influencer. Even I had one of our fame here in Malaysia, cooking channel. Her name is Sugu Pavitra, and she's another naive, I would say another girl next door from a very small city. She became well known overnight after starting up her own YouTube channel. So she spoke in Malay. She catered to our how we wanted it to be. So yeah, so this is what happened during those time. So during the pandemic, and now that post pandemic, I really feel that there's so many programs, by UN itself, by the Asian country leaders themselves, and also, in Malaysia itself, we have something called the Penjana Initiative, where we initiate, sorry. Okay, I've stopped sharing actually. Where we've initiated a lot of programs, free programs under the human resource ministry, whereby there's a lot of digital free courses for ladies to learn. So many of them feels coding is a problem. There is a basic ways to learn coding as well. There's so many programs here in Malaysia, in Singapore, that I'm also countering. There's so many free programs. And not to forget Coursera. We have Coursera, which also, giving out a lot of free programs, and Udemy, all these learning platforms. So I really feel that we need to expose ourselves. Not only exposing, we need to cultivate that culture whereby we need to know that 2020 is all about digitalizing. So maybe COVID kicks in just to remind us that, hey, it's time for you to go all digital. So I feel, that's all about being, coping up with the pandemic, because myself personally, I've developed myself, I've branded myself, everything I've done virtually, and that is all because of digital world. So for everyone who's watching today, my story could not be a very huge inspiration, or it it could be something that anybody could achieve or things like that. But I really feel the struggle was real, and it's really important to know there's no limitations. Of course, we want to look into gender equality, especially during this pandemic. Gender played a major role in every household, in every corporate companies, in every sectors. Basically, genders, there were gender biasness. So to put up to all this, you have to be on par with the male. So it's not about challenging them on being a man. It's about challenging your skills with them. You need to be tactful, you need to be skillful, you need to be on par with the current digital world. So you need everything in hand. You need to know exactly what's happening, keep yourself updated. Branding, another thing that I would like to stress here. Branding is also important, because from someone overnight, because of the way you brand yourself and the way you brand whatever that you want to brand. Okay, so thank you everyone for listening to my story, a little story, and a little sharing. I just hope that we can see a better nation here, and I really hope we can get connected moving forward. My name is Lilita Govindasamy again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lolita. That was an amazing point of view, so powerful and empowering. All right, now let's begin our Q&A session. We have collected a few questions here. The first question is for Miss Abigail from Tarnisha. Your story are so inspiring. Can you share how did you manage to overcome all these problems?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Tarnisha. So, as I've said a while ago, the process was not easy. It was not easy, and it takes a lot of character molding and pruning, and even uh, to the point of can I really achieve the character that I wanted to have, or can I really move forward? Okay, but I have basic tips that I have done. Okay, which helped me a lot. Of course, number one is prayer, the power of prayer. And I commit myself, I devote myself in meditating God's word. And also, not only that, but also to listen to the people, or to choose the people whom you're going to listen to. That's very important, that we choose the right people to be with. Okay, because not all people can be beneficial to us and can help with our situation, but also choose the right people who can be accountable over your life. Meaning, these people can look over your life and can tap you and say, okay, Abigail, what you're doing right now is wrong. What you're doing right now can result into this. People accountability partner. That's why I was able to overcome those challenges. I overcame it not because of myself, but because I let other people to help me as well. So as I've said, it's a collaborative effort.
Okay, I hope that answers your curiosity, Tarnisha. We move on to the next question. This is for Miss Abigail too, from Tika. How to be a confident woman in front of people even though we don't have skills at all, or probably haven't found it yet.
Yeah, I believe that we all have skills. Yeah, probably there were times that we were thinking that we don't have skills, but you know what, friends, we all have skills. During my time, um, when I decided to change and to really share my story, the redemption story, I never thought that I would be given a chance to start this movement. Um, I did not study very well when I was in college. I had a lot of failed grades, back subjects. I was never been a good student. Even during my work, that's why I had 7 criminal cases when I was while I was working. People always tell me that I would end up in two situations. It's either I continue being a prostitute, or second, I would end up having children with different fathers. Okay, but you know what? When I realized that my past would never define my future, would never dictate my future, I started to search for my basic skills. What do I mean with basic skills? It's an everyday process. Okay, that includes confidence. Okay, confidence is built in an everyday process. It's not instant. So, okay, tomorrow when you wake up, you don't feel confident. Okay, there are things happen during the day, then give yourself another shot tomorrow. It's an everyday process. It's an everyday battle. Okay, I myself, every day I consider it as an everyday battle. So you speak life to yourself. I remember I always look at the mirror and I would tell, you know what, Abigail, your story will inspire other people. Your story can lead other people to see hope and light and many more. I know it's an old school, okay? It's old school, but it worked for me. I hope you guys would understand that building self confidence must be an everyday journey. It must be an everyday and not an instant journey. So enjoy your journey every day and talk to yourself every day.
Of course, we should all enjoy our journey of life. I hope that answers your question, Miss Tika. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next question for Miss Lilita. On a side note, because we have a really tight time, you can answer it in a really brief explanation. First, from Mr. Sayed. What was intended before to become as successful as you are right now? What was your first intention? Do you have any like the starting point?
Yeah, I would say the starting point is the break. The starting point basically is about I had a breakup, and that is all due to body shaming. And I wanted to just prove him wrong that you have the look, but you don't have the brain. And I wanted to show him something that, I can achieve. Another thing is also because I always wanted to change the lifestyle. I would say the fate of the family. I don't want to be in the middle class anymore. I don't want to be there. So I wanted to change, level up myself, the family, and also I always wanted to bring my second name to be known. As what I always stress about branding, I always wanted my second name to be known. My father is dead now, but I want everybody to call me as Lilita Govindasamy, and they know the word Govindasamy is always there. So it hit my mind since 2016 that I always need to do whatever that I'm doing. I am actually, it's all about my father, how I wanted to change my life, the family's fate, and how I wanted to bring an impact through me, a person like me. You also can do the same. So for me, it's this. These are all. It could be a small thing, but for me, it is really a huge thing. And until today, I'm holding to that. So everything I do, yeah, this is what I actually look back to. I refer back to. It's about changing the entire lifestyle and to do something, to create something. Yep.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Sayed. The second question is from Dea. She sends me privately. You are one of the survivor of body shaming from zero to hero. So for the survivors out there, what is the most important thing you always remember when that flashback of people's insults hits?
I'm sorry, Kiara, I couldn't get your last part there. Sorry.
Okay, I'm repeating again. You are one of the survivor of body
Yep.
shaming from zero to hero. So for the survivors out there, what is the most important thing you always remember when that flashbacks of people's insults hits?
Okay. So the most important thing that everybody should always tell themselves that it yourself as like incomplete. There's so many difficulties, and there's so many I would say discapabilities in people, and we have the blind, unfortunate, there's so many of them. But when I look back at being fat, being plump, being dark, is a minus point for others to actually to insult me, to use against me. So that's where it tells me always that you are beautiful, and nevertheless you have to go out and show up. You have to be yourself. So there's nothing much you can change. I can't be actually feeling that pain. I can't be doing plastic surgery on my face, or inserting any kind of extra what is this, glutathione. I think there's so many products out there. Of course, I do use facial creams. I am a person who make up and things like that. But always the insecurity is always there in me. But how I complement with the way I carry myself, the way I speak, so that this overshadow my insecurities. So usually, that is why I said I'm very good in branding. So for me, personal branding is really important. When you show your confidence, when you speak confidently, as what Abigail also stressed earlier, when you have the confidence when you speak and you show up and you dress well and everything is just perfect, nobody gonna look at you as, hey, Lily is fat, hey, Lily is dark. Nobody gonna say that. So they will actually overlook all this, and they will just be blind folded folded personalization. So yeah, that's what important, and you always should tell yourself, let it be a mantra actually. It's okay.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Abigail and Lilita. Because we really have a tight time, we couldn't accommodate all of your questions, but don't worry. You can ask your question directly to Miss Lilita or Abigail. You can connect to them in Facebook or LinkedIn, probably. So now I'm going to give a little wrap up of our webinar today. From Miss Abigail's presentation, how someone like her, based on the challenging situation that she had before, was able to build a team, empower young people or women, and inspire others. And also, she focusing on herself first by those 3 ways. How to be empowered to empower. The first one is when women rule. The second one is role. The third one is the purpose. And from Miss Lilita, she went from abusive relationship, body shaming, racial issues, financial difficulties, and she right now is a youth and a women advocate. She also stated that we're born in one place and we're responsible to live in another place. There's also a way, and these two shall pass. Advices from Lilita, including 3 points. First, stop judging. Then second, break stereotypes and go digital. All right, now it's time to take group pictures. Everyone, I'll give you a minute to turn on your camera so we can take group pictures together. My friend Diva here will give her assistance to count and take group pictures. Diva, you may tell us when you're ready to take it and count it down.
Okay, I will wait until the participant turn on their camera. So please turn on your camera, guys. I will start the countdown in 3, 2, 1. Once again. One last time, okay? 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you guys for your information. The e-certificate for participants will be sent after you fill the feedback form, which will be shared after this webinar ended. So don't leave yet. And after that, we will send it maximum 3 days after the webinar. Okay, that's it. Thank you all guys for joining our event today. Thank you, Miss Abigail and Lilita, also my supervisor, Kak Sarah. Thank you so much. And thank you for each and every one of you attending this webinar. we couldn't mention it one by one, but we are so grateful to have you today. Okay, stay safe, stay healthy, and bye.